Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the skincare line that everybody's been talking about this summer, Selfless by Hyram. Now, I want to let you know I'm going to be reviewing 3 of the 5 products in the line, and I did receive them from the brand for free. I'm under no obligation to do any type of review or talk about them at all, and I actually don't have any type of connection to Hyram himself. I've spoken to him like twice, you know what I mean? But that's it. So I'm going to structure this video talking about the products first. Just the products, the ingredients, the textures, and what they do for the skin. So products first, brand second. I'm going to be talking about what they're really trying to achieve with this line. I am going to speak about some of the controversies that have come up around this line. Some people are not happy, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that and tell you guys what I think about this brand overall, and ultimately, is it worth it or not for you? So let's dive into the video, give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started. So first up, let's talk about the Centella Green Tea Hydrating Cleanser. Now, I'm very picky about cleansers. I have sensitive skin, so there's a few requirements that I have for cleansers before I even put it onto my skin. And I'm happy to tell you this cleanser actually does meet those requirements. So I like to see products that are free of essential oils, artificial fragrance, and drying alcohol. This definitely gets a check mark there. We have a very minimal ingredients list. And I always look for a low pH cleanser, something coming in at 5.5. Now I did test these on my home pH strips, and this does come in perfectly at 5.5, which is great. Now ingredients wise, green tea, Centella, love those ingredients, but I honestly don't really care about that in a cleanser product because it's on your face for such a short amount of time before you rinse it down the drain. So I don't tend to really focus in on like star ingredients when it comes to cleansers because I just need it to clean my face. Now, I did notice that they are using coconut-based surfactants for this cleanser. That's also a good sign for sensitive skin because they are a little bit more gentle on the skin. They're a little bit more low foam, and meeting up with that lower pH, we are really setting ourselves up for a cleanser that's going to be very gentle on the skin. So this is called a gel cleanser, but the texture here is a little bit more unique than that in my eyes because it's almost more like a looser, runnier, jelly type texture. It actually really reminds me of the Inkeyless Fulvic Acid Cleanser and the Crave Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser. So it's got kind of like that jelly, bouncy like texture. And even though it is pretty runny, which I really was not expecting, it really envelops your skin. As you spread it across your face, it really envelops your skin and it actually feels kind of cushiony. It feels really, really pleasing on the skin. It is not a high foaming cleanser. I mean, that really lines up with the low pH and the coconut surfactant. So not a lot of bubbles here, but that doesn't mean that it's not cleaning your skin. You don't need high foam to get a good clean. This actually gives you a really nice effective clean on the skin, and it rinses away very cleanly without any residue. So I actually really enjoyed this cleanser. I think the experience is really nice, and I felt really nicely cleaned, but my skin definitely did not feel like overly stripped or dry. Next up, let's talk about the Niacinamide and Maracuja Daily Support Moisturizer. So ingredients wise, we have niacinamide, and I was really excited to see that they're using 5% of niacinamide because that's my favorite percentage. That is the percentage that is most often used in clinical studies. So when you see, niacinamide brightens your skin, it helps with anti-aging, they're most likely using niacinamide at a 5% concentration. You don't really need to go all the way up to 10% to get really good benefits. 5% is really good and less likely to irritate the skin. This also has 1% of Maracuja oil, which is also known as passion flower seed oil. Now this has got a high fatty acid content. It's very moisture barrier supportive, and it's actually suitable for those who have acne prone skin or oily skin. The texture left me a little bit confused. Now I'm just going to tell you before I even get into it, this is not right for my skin type at all. So that's where I'm coming from serum with this. But yeah, I was a little bit confused because it comes out kind of like a gel type of texture. All right. I start to spread it onto my skin and I can see that it's got emolliency to it. You know, sometimes you can see a little bit of that richness and that kind of like moisturizing shininess. It definitely has a little hint of richness to it. You can feel a little bit of that light oil in this, but it's not oily. Do you know what I'm saying? It just feels like comforting. I definitely feel the light moisture on this. It has pretty nice absorbency into the skin, but it's so stinking light, it almost feels like it just disappeared off of my skin. Like this didn't do anything for my skin at all. Now, as I said, combo skin. So I do have drier areas on my face and I do suffer with dehydration. Looking at the ingredients list here, we've got emollients here, we've got a little bit of oil in here, we've got the niacinamide, but there's not really any occlusive agents in here. Now, contrary to popular belief, oils are usually not occlusive agents. A lot of people think that facial oils act as occlusives, and they really, most of them don't. Some of them do. The ones in here don't, and they really just bring emolliency into the skin. They just bring moisture. So there's really a lack of that lock it down occlusivity in this moisturizer for me personally. I understand that that is not everybody's skin needs, but if your skin needs occlusivity, lock it down, fight dehydration from your moisturizer, you're not going to get it from this product. But my review doesn't end there. No, because I've been running an experiment with this moisturizer. It's got such a nice amount of niacinamide in there. It really actually kind of reminds me more like a serum, like a treatment step for your skin rather than just a plain old moisturizer. So that's actually how I've been using it. I've been using it like a serum in my skincare routine. I've been using this like putting on a hydrating toner first, putting this on, and then doing like oil and moisturizer at the end of my skincare routine. And it works perfectly. I wasn't sure how it was going to layer, but it actually like made my skin feel really, really nice. This could be a nice kind of like serum alternative. It's not gonna work for everybody. I understand that, but I just got kind of excited like, this has other uses to it than just a moisturizer alone. And let's talk about the Retinol and Rainbow Algae Serum. So ingredients wise, we have 0.2% of retinol. Now I know that that sounds like a low amount, but that's actually an amount that has been proven to be effective on the skin, and they're using encapsulated retinol. So that means that it kind of like slows down the release of the retinol into the skin, and it really helps to reduce the amount of irritation that you might get with retinol. It really spreads nicely onto the skin. It's got really quick, good absorbency, and it just feels light. There's some moisture here. There's just a touch of richness, but it's not greasy. It's not oily. Just nicely moisturizing in a really light, really quickly absorbed layer onto the skin. I was definitely impressed with the texture of this. So this is the product that I was the most excited to test out from the line. When I opened up my box, I was like, yes, a retinol. I'm so excited. I actually started testing it immediately. It was the very first product I started to play around with because, like I said, I was really excited about it. Now, I will tell you before I share all of my opinions on this product, it's probably important for you to understand that I do use tretinoin, which is basically the prescription strength version of retinol. Of course, any over-the-counter retinol product is not going to be as impressive as my tretinoin prescription. I fully realize and acknowledge that, and I've adjusted my expectations for that. But I just thought that you should know that because it's pretty important information before we go forward with the review. So here's the good. The texture, like I said, I'm really impressed with this. It's got really great absorbency in the skin, feels really nice and light, something really easy to layer into your skincare routine. I was really impressed that this was gentle on the skin. Now, like I said, I do use tretinoin, but I do have sensitive skin, which means I still sometimes will encounter irritation, sensitivity, and some side effects with even over-the-counter retinol, and I did not with this. I was really pleasantly surprised. My sensitive skin took to this really beautifully. I think that this is a really nice, gentle formulation, which is really, really key, especially with such strong, sometimes aggressive ingredients like retinol that can have really bad side effects on the skin. Gentle is the way to go. So definitely impressed on those fronts. Now, here's the ugly, the bad about this. A couple of things. The packaging really sucks. So I haven't mentioned it in the video yet because we're talking just about the product. products, but you probably know that this line, Selfless by Hyram, is a collaboration between Hyram and the Inkey List. They have joined forces to create this line. This is also a problem that I have with Inkey List products. They use generic packaging, like the same sort of packaging throughout the entire line, and that packaging doesn't always suit specific products that are packaged in it. This packaging, it is so hard to squeeze the product out of the tube, and it's very annoying, and I don't like it. And I'm gonna try it out right now, but like, you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. I'm putting so much pressure on this. It is not, there we go. Now it's starting to come up, but you see it's just drip, drip, dripping. That's really, really annoying. You know what I mean? It's really annoying. Now I did learn that if you go from the top, it comes out a little bit easier, but I'm really applying a lot of pressure. This is going to become a much bigger problem as this starts to empty, and I'm really, 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 really gonna have to squeeze it out. This is an expensive retinol. I don't want to waste any drop of it. So ultimately, this isn't the retinol for me. And I did start to get some pimples and breakouts with this one. Definitely not irritation and definitely not purging because I'm a regular tretinoin user. I've already purged, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just actually just not strong enough. However, I do think that this could be a worthy option if you've never tried retinol before, because there's a few key things here that make it a worthy contender. The texture, really easy to use and layer. Some retinols can get kind of funky in the textures. This one is not. This has a proven amount of retinol, but it's still on the lower end of things, and I think that that's appropriate to get yourself introduced to retinols. So if you are already using retinol, I don't think that this one is for you. It probably isn't. But if you're kind of curious, if you're like flirting with the retinol world, this could definitely be a good way to start. So a quick TLDR wrap up on the products before we move on to the brand review, which I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for. So these products on the whole feel very geared towards oily skin types. I do think some of these will work for other skin types, definitely, but just on a whole, they really feel like they're targeting those with oily skin. I did encounter some packaging issues with the retinol, and that seems to be the case for the AHA and BHA serums too. They're a little hard to squeeze out. But on the whole, I think that it's a solid, a starter brand, you know what I mean, for the first launch. There's really nothing bad here with the products. Like, I have nothing to call out. There's nothing shady here. The ingredients are good, minimal formulations. They seem to have really taken their time with this. But I will say, besides being excited about a few products, which were okay, and certain ingredients, on a whole, I feel like this is a very solid skincare line, but I'm not terribly excited about it. So let's jump into the brand, which I think there are actually a lot of exciting elements here. And this is what a lot of people are talking about in their reviews too. They're really talking about what this brand is trying to do, good or bad, right? Now, as I mentioned, this is a collaboration between Hyram and the Inkey List, and I really do feel the influence of the Inkey List on these products themselves, and that's not a bad thing at all. I think Inkey List makes very solid products, and I can really feel some similarities here. They're not the same. I think some people might think that these are Inkey List products relabeled as Hyram. They're not. These are definitely new formulas, but I mean, when you're talking about a collaboration and you're using the formulating powers of the Inkey List, of course we're going to get some similar feeling types of products, but Hyram's stamp is definitely on these products too. So this is not a relabeled or reissued, more expensive Inkey List. So let's talk about the packaging just a little bit more. Now, I did encounter some problems with the retinol squeeze tube, but I'm really happy to tell you that sustainability is a really big part of the Selfless line. So all of the cardboard boxes that the products come in are 100% recyclable, and all of the tubes are 100% recyclable, including the cap. Caps aren't always recyclable, by the way, guys. And all of the packaging is actually made out of sugar cane, which is a very renewable source of material. It grows back very quickly, so it can renew itself. And I think that's great. And they have really outlined their sustainability goals on their website, and they have extensive information about how to recycle their products. I think that that is wonderful, and that's one of the elements where I'm like, maybe I can forgive some of the packaging issues if they're really making the effort to use better materials. The Selfless line is also climate conscious. They are a carbon net zero brand, so they're offsetting their emissions and they're pledging to do even more. They're going to be collecting their data sets over the next 6 to 12 months. They say that they're going to make that public, and they're going to highlight where they're doing well and what they can actually do to be better. So I think that that's a really great initiative to take. They also have a dedication to sustainable ingredients and ethically sourced ingredients. And they do a very good job of outlining their definitions of a ethically sourced ingredient, which I think is great because it's very easy to throw those terms around without really understanding the meaning behind them. I would love to see a little bit more of an ingredient story happening with that. Of course, that's just marketing, but I'm just saying from a potential customer, if you're saying that they are ethically sourced, to see a little bit more transparency in the brand story of where the ingredients are coming from would be really cool, right? And I do understand there's such things as trade secrets. They're not going to be able to tell us exactly where every ingredient is coming from and all of that. That's basically giving away your secret sauce, right? What makes your brand special. So I totally understand that there's going to be some boundaries there, but it's just something that I was personally looking for, that information, and I wasn't able to find it. And they are dedicated to charity. So there are 2 charities that are going to benefit from the sales of these products. The Rainforest Trust will benefit if you buy the cleanser, the retinol, or the salicylic acid. And the Thirst Project, which provides clean drinking water, will benefit if you purchase the moisturizer or the Mandelic acid serum. All right, let's jump into some of the criticisms of this brand. And one of the biggest ones is the price. A lot of people got a little bit of sticker shock on the prices of these products. And from what I understand, it's because Hyram does talk a lot about very affordable products. So I looked up the prices because, as I said, I didn't pay for these. I got them for free. The cleanser coming in at $20. Yeah, a little bit higher. Not terribly so. There's definitely more expensive cleansers out there, but in the grand scheme of cleansers, could you get something for less? Most definitely you can. Let's talk about the Niacinamide Moisturizer, $26. Okay, and the retinol is $30. I was actually really surprised to find out this was a $30 retinol. Now, the Mandelic acid and salicylic acid serums that I didn't review in this video, those come in at $24. So yeah, it's not the most expensive, not by any means, it's really not, but it's not the most affordable either. And if you were a Hyram fan, really expecting prices more in line with Inkey List or The Ordinary, or even just like drugstore brands like CeraVe, I do understand why you were a little bit surprised and maybe even upset. I totally get the sticker shock from that point of view. Now, if I were to blind test these products, meaning I don't know what brand they came from, I can't see the packaging, I don't know anything that the brand is trying to achieve, I'm just feeling them, trying them, testing them, and just based on my opinion of just the products, like in a blind test, would I pay those prices? Probably not. I am pretty well known to be price conscious myself, and I don't know that I would pay that for these. I don't know that I would. However, I really say this for the end because I wanted to really tell you everything that the brand is trying to achieve before addressing the price issues, because remember we talked about the sustainable sugarcane packaging. Do you think that this 100% recyclable sustainable packaging costs just as much as like the cheapo Inkey List plastic flip tube like top thingies that we all hate? You know what I'm talking about? They are not. This is a much more expensive packaging choice for this brand, right? That's going to be reflected in the price. They're trying to reduce their carbon emissions. They're trying to ethically source ingredients. They are trying to support charities with these products. That is going to be reflected in the price. And let's just be brutally honest. This is a business venture between Hyram and the Inkey List. So everybody's going to get their split of the profits too. That's going to be part of the price. Like I said, I don't think they're super overpriced. They're a little bit higher than I think we were expecting it to be, but I understand why they cost what they cost. So for me, it's not a huge controversy. It's not that big of a deal. And I think if you're somebody who really believes in putting their dollar towards what they believe in, sustainability, the environment, supporting, charitable causes, that makes sense to pay those prices for these products then, because you're really kind of putting your money in a way where your morals are. And for a lot of people, that's very important. So I do understand why the products cost what they do. So one of the other criticisms that I have seen, and you've probably seen a lot of the Selfless line, you know, it really comes down to people feeling like this brand is virtue signaling. They're really trying to sell you on how good they are by really telling you how good they are. And one of the other criticisms that I've seen is white saviorism. I guess based on some of the marketing materials that they've used, especially with their charitable donations that they're doing, it did feel a little yucky to some people, and it did feel a little bit like white saviorism. And my opinion on that would be, yeah, it probably is. Sure. Those are all valid criticisms and conversations to have. I definitely do. My kind of take on it, and something that I want to add in to that conversation, is the fact that they're doing something radically different that could change this industry. Because let's be real here, you know, as individuals, we are told so much that we're responsible for sustainability. We're responsible for recycling things. We are responsible for reducing our carbon emissions and making better choices for the environment. Are we not? Right? And we definitely can make a difference. Like, I really do believe in the individual effort for the environment and making better choices. But we know deep down in our gut, the biggest offenders are corporations. Even smaller businesses like Selfless by Hyram can have a huge impact on the environment in a negative way. Corporations are some of the biggest offenders of ethics, right? Especially towards people. So where I'm getting at with this is, you know, there might be some virtue signaling, there may be some white saviorism sprinkled in there. Let's definitely talk about that. But let's also talk about the fact that, like, setting the brand up to do these things is going to make other businesses pay attention. Because the thing is, Hyram has a lot of influence, whether you like it or not, right? Whether you're his fan or not, he doesn't just influence his followers. He influences this industry at this point, especially with starting his own brand. Other brands, big and small, are going to be watching what he's doing, because they want to capture his audience too, right? It's all about business. So they're going to be watching and seeing what he's doing. If this brand is successful, which it really seems like it's had a very successful launch already, there's a very good chance that they're going to try to steal some of that secret sauce. They're going to try to use some of the same marketing tactics. And you know what? I don't really care if that's how it comes around. If it inspires change, I think that that is a good thing. Is this brand trying to do too much all at once? Yeah, I think they are. I do. I really do. As I was like researching into it, I was like, wow, they're trying to do this and this and this and this. It can make your head spin to try to figure out everything that they're trying to achieve with this brand. It is a lot. But I will say it's admirable too. You know what I mean? Are they going to be perfect on every point of what they're trying to do? No, I don't think that they are. And definitely there's some minor issues that I pointed out throughout this video where I think maybe they probably can do a little bit better. Most definitely. But at the end of the day, I just got to give them props for even going out there and trying. I just personally feel like capitalism and activism, there's never going to be a perfect marriage of that. There's always going to be something not quite right about that. But trying to marry them together, trying to do better, I think is a good thing. So only time will tell what impact this brand is going to have on the industry. I'm really hoping that it'll have a positive impact with everything that they're trying to achieve. I said at the beginning of the video, the products themselves didn't really terribly excite me. I think they're solid products. I think they're good choices for beginners, especially very good for oily skin types. It could be a worthwhile line for you to explore. Is it going to blow your mind? It probably won't, at least not with what they currently have, but I think it's a really good start. But where my excitement with this brand launch, it really is with the brand, with their ethics, with their core beliefs and what they're trying to achieve with the brand. That is what excites me. That is what I think is interesting. And that is what I think can be worth supporting. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of these products? Or if maybe my review was helpful for you, let me know in the comment box below. below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, but this video helped you out, please do consider hitting subscribe. Before you go, I release lots of new skincare content throughout the week, so don't forget to turn on notifications. I hope you guys are healthy, happy, and safe. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.